Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again, and I'm here to share with you some information that is very important to me. And I want to get some ground rules or some ground bases established so we can understand exactly where I'm coming from. I want you to know this. I love black people. I love black people. I'm black. And there are some black people that are the worst people you can ever imagine. Now, I would like to say I love white people. I don't know if I do, but I know I care about white people. I care about white people. And the reason that I don't want to say I love white people is because I know there's some white people just as low down and dirty as they can be. And to say that you love them might make you think that you love all of them. Well, the truth of the matter is, I love them all, but I lose some respect for some when they started acting like demons, and most of them act like demons. But there are a lot of wonderful white people, just like there are a lot of wonderful black people. And I will be attacking these situations, but I don't want you to think that I'm just attacking that. I'm attacking the church as well, because those white people that don't honor God, those black people that don't honor God, those churches that don't honor God are serving Satan. And when we look at our world today, when we look at the things that's happening, it is a result of Satan getting the upper hand. And it's getting the upper hand from the people. I put a few notes down here that I want to share with you because it's important. I want to begin my notes. I want to say to you, killing someone for doing good or representing what is good is the key. Now, and I'm saying this to you because so many people are trying to live forever. And they know they're not. And people are dying from all kinds of things. I want to say to you again, killing someone for doing good or representing good is the key. Now, what have I said? I said if you're doing good, if you're representing good, and somebody kills you, that is the key to your victory. That is the key to life everlasting. Now, what is that also representative of? It's representative of separating the sheep and the goat. You've heard about that in Matthew chapter 25, somewhere around the last part of that chapter. It's talking about separating sheep from goat. Now, I realize that a lot of you have done a lot of research, and a lot of you have come up with the conclusion that the Bible and all that message is nothing but a repeat of other times past. And that might be okay if you want to think like that. I don't care what you think. All I'm going to tell you is this. What I'm telling you, I have found out to be true. Now, for you who just common people, I'm a social scientist. And people are just as important to me as the law is to a lawyer. I'm a social scientist. And the people are just as important to me as an individual that's sick, that's going to the doctor. A diagnosis must be made, medication must be given and taken, and hopefully things will go right. In this area, you can say all the different things you want to say, but I am the one here, certified to prescribe. You can listen if you want to. Listen, when you say separating the sheep from the goat, when you say doing good or being killed for doing good, such a one is a power stating its ground. Whether it's right, whether it's wrong. It's about righteousness. It's about unrighteousness. Righteousness, unrighteousness. It is the statement of one that is judged. And you're being judged. You're sitting there. Are you going to represent righteousness? Or are you going to represent unrighteousness? This is a moment separating the sheep from the goat. One walking in the light of truth welcomes death at the hands of darkness, evil, and unrighteousness. Such a one knows it is the greatest escape, but so does the killer. Your killing is not to be your benefit, though it is, but as an indication to those in darkness, to those who don't believe in God, to those who go along with everything the way it is, that killing someone is a place that these people in darkness don't want to go. Now, seen the promised land? You wondered what he saw. You said what he saw was that Martin Luther King saw what? He said the glory of the coming of the Lord. Mine eyes have seen it. That means that it's freedom and all that God represents is coming to you because it is a reward for what you have done in the name of righteousness. Today is perhaps the day that God has chosen for you is a statement that some preacher on television always uses. And people are excited about it. But I come to tell you about a God that every day is the day that God has chosen for you. It's a con game to me for a preacher to tell you, be cool. Just be cool because the day maybe that God is going to bless you as if he won't bless you for some reason or another. I say to you, that is the expression of a con artist. God's blessing for you is every day. All you have to do is claim it. What does claiming mean? It means stand up for, because God has prepared everything for you. But it means stand up for what is right. And don't be defeated. Don't let unrighteousness walk away with the reward. You stand up and maintain the reward and let unrighteousness walk away with an empty hand and never again say this is the day that God might have for you. You got 10,000 people sitting out there. All of them wanting something. And you say that this is the day that God has claimed for you. I don't know who this is, ladies and gentlemen, but let me just take the call. Hello? And when I say, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that this is an upgrade. God's blessing for you every day. An upgrade in the sense that I'm telling you this when you have not been hearing it. Oh, you've heard many preachers say it. You've paid attention to the one who said that this is the day that God might have given to you. And you've paid attention to it because thousands of people are cornering around that message, paying all kinds of tithes and offering for this message. And it is the fruit of the action that this preacher is giving because what? No one is standing up in the name of God, not the church or any others. They're standing up for, well, themselves. They're standing up for blacks. They're standing up for whites. They're standing up for Republicans and Democrats. They're standing up for men and women and all that other stuff in between. But who's standing up for what's right? Adam and Eve. They represent those that were given the test. Rather than stand, they chose not to. They didn't represent righteousness. But Job, you've heard the story of Job. Job had a test. And they tell us that Job passed the test. You and I, ladies and gentlemen, we are confronted with that test every day. Every day. Here living in these bodies, we're confronted with that test every day. Are we going to stand for righteousness or unrighteousness? And I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, right now we are standing for unrighteousness. This world is set up, when we look at the people in it, unrighteousness. Now that doesn't mean some of us aren't righteous. It's a weak righteousness, because if you were really righteous, that means you care about folks and they will kill you for caring about people. Look, we have pastors that have failed that test. And as I said, the test is still before us. To be worthy of peace, to be worthy of prosperity and joy, these three must be represented all the time. All the time. In the face of unrighteousness, there is no compromise. Listen to me. There is no compromise between righteousness and unrighteousness. Now, I realize you say the democracy, capitalism here, we had our own views, but everybody can't have their own way. So whatever is, the majority speaks, which is a bunch of junk. And you just go along with it, even though it works against you. Even though it makes you a savage, as America used to say. Even though it makes you a slave, as America used to say. And still say, you must stand in spite of it. Now God might have told Adam, and I didn't say he did, but he might have told Adam not to have sex with Eve. And to do that, that was righteous. And it is always righteous for the creation to adhere to the creative purpose. But another voice got into the mix and convinced them to have sex. Nothing would happen, that voice said. So they yielded. They started indulging in sex. Seemingly for a while, everything was going on fine. They thought they had found a new truth until Eve's belly started growing. Now, that brought about a new problem. They were busted. And now, rather than having the advantage of spiritual wisdom, they had to rely on carnal experience, trial and error. As Adam and Eve had disobeyed the love of the Father, so would their creation, their children would do to them disobey, as they did to their parent, disobey. This is disrespect when practiced. And it grows into a form of jealousy. It grows into hate. It grows into greed. And it leads to murder between the two most likely comrades, brothers. I remember during the Hurricane Camille back in Mississippi years ago. Hotel guests literally stood on top of the hotel roofs partying to greet the hurricane. And their purpose was to laugh at those who had no faith, who walked away trying to get away from the trouble. When in fact, their fears were misguided. The hurricane bothered them on the rooftop. Those that responded to the danger survived. Those that ignored the danger were overcome. Unrighteousness is upon the nation, and the nation is not responding to it in the proper manner. There's a preacher on the internet. Many of you might have heard him. I hate to call his name. A preacher. His viewership got to be all white. For I've never heard anybody talk about black people the way this black man has. This black man swears that black people are the devil, that God chose them as the devil, that God put them in slavery, that they are the ugliest thing you can imagine. This brother, this preacher, would say that. I never heard him say anything decent about a black person. And I told this to somebody, they came to me and they said, and he has all these viewers because they are white people that want to hear that message and laugh at him because everything that comes out of his mouth low down and despicable about black people is seen right there on that camera. A black man. So even before what he says go out and touch any black person, it's already on him. And that's somebody talking to you about God's love. The American way, listen to me, the American way, and I'm sure the rest of the world, but I believe the rest of the world out of this part of the conversation. The American way is anti-God, as its history proves. Its history talks about Americans using people as savages. Now you check your history. It was about getting gold, slaves, anything that had economic value, business, arms, military arms, war, drugs, indulging themselves in drugs, taking it to the American people. There was an awful lot of good people in America, but the system is from the pit of hell. The American system is from the pit of hell. Lying, cheating, stealing, and killing is the American way. Let me say it again. Lying, cheating, stealing, and killing is the American way. Now, I know many of you got jobs that you can't see the stealing. You can't see the lying. You can't see the chilling, the cheating. But it's all a part of it. And you just, in a peripheral way, you're going to get that part, that view. But it is all a part of lying and cheating and stealing, which is the American way. The church is in partnership. And it is also from the pit of hell. The institutional church today is from the pit of hell. And I'm talking to everybody that's listening to me. I don't care if you're a preacher, a pope, a bishop, an elder, a deacon, a choir member, choir singer, I don't care what you are, a school teacher. The church, institutional church, is from the pit of hell. You think they represent God? No, they don't. They talk about a book that's been written by the same people that called others savages, called others slaves, beat them, took over their land, robbed them, and say it's the greatest nation on the face of the earth. Yeah. And you are part of it. And the reason is that the church members are not awake, yet at least. But God, what did God call the church for? God called the church to lead, to show the way, not to follow. To show the way, not to follow. Why do you have truth? To walk in truth, to highlight darkness so it can be seen and discarded. You lead with truth, not putting truth aside and walking behind lies and telling yourself, well, I know it's wrong, but I can't help myself. No, you can't help yourself because your God is the one that's pushing all these lying, cheating, stealing, and killing. What about the God that you talk about that is greater in you than this that's in the world? What about the God that was able to be all powerful? Now, you think you represent that God? That's funny. That's a mistake, baby. You represent Satan or whatever that evil power is. Look, God wants us to protect the homeless, those who don't have food and shelter and clothing and education, proper education and health care, those who don't have a job. We are to guarantee to them that nothing prevents them from having that because it was made for them. This big earth was made for people. And all of the things that it's able to do was made for people by God. And the abilities that man has to produce from that for one another, to keep away the lying, the cheating, the stealing, and the killing, to keep away the wars and the terrorism, but to give you peace and prosperity and joy. This is what the world is for. I know you got people telling you sometimes that don't worry about the stuff of the world, that you'll get yours later. They tell you about prosperity. Forget about that. Don't think about material things on this earth. That's a con game, another con game. The devil has never made a car. The devil has never made a home. The devil has never done anything for anybody except lied to them. So all of these things that you are able to do, it is from God to be used here today, not in a promise to someplace you don't know anything about. Being tricked and lied to like that. It is the church's responsibility to demand justice, prosperity, and joy for others. And why was Dr. King, Malcolm X, John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, why were they murdered? They were murdered because they represented goodness, and America say, we ain't having it. And what did the rest of the people say? Amen. Because nobody did anything about it. They did an investigation, wouldn't even tell the truth. People didn't even demand that they told the truth. They come up here and come with the World Trade Center being bombed up. Everybody knows that there's been nothing but lies told. But who's demanding the truth? I'm not saying who's asking the truth or asking for the truth. I say who's demanding the truth. Who is saying this is not going to be acceptable and we are not going to rest until the truth be known, because we want everybody in America to know that you cannot trust a man just because he got money. Just because Donald Trump got money, he say his own money, stole it. You say, well, how did he steal it? The same way everybody else steals, any way necessary. Got his own plane, now he tells you he loves you. When did he love you? When he started running for president? That's when he loved you? When did Miss Clinton love you? When she decided that she wanted to be the first president woman? When did any guys decide that they love you? How many of you don't have insurance right now? How many of you got your mouths ragged and need dental care? Man, I better get off this phone. I get off this. It's been great. I hope I've said something to help some of you. Probably haven't. But I tell you what, I did my part, and I'm still doing it. And you, church, watch out, because I'm going to attack evil. I'm going to attack unrighteousness wherever it is. And I know it's in the world, and I know it's in the church. You better get your act together, or get your guns and kill me. I mean, you know, that'd be fine. But the bull got to go. Bye-bye.